Well, good morning and live from Studio G and fighting for you from the Foxhole Freedom. We're going to dive into another brand new hour of the Steve Gruber Show. Warning. This show could result in extended periods of American pride, optimism, and uncontrollable enthusiasm about America's future. This is a triggering event. We're kicking off the live broadcast and Real America's Voice and MTN and reaching a growing global audience. This is the Steve Gruber Show and No Panic Zone. Here are the three big things you need to know this hour. Number one. We're continuing to learn now what all of us already knew. Joe Biden was not running the country during his time in office. In fact, he was barely present for most of it. That's right, he was barely present for most of it. We'll get to that. Number two, Ukraine calling for a ceasefire in its war with Russia. That's right, this comes after one of the wildest weeks and most violent weeks on both sides since the war began. And number three, as you already know, I was aboard Air Force One with President Trump on Friday as he went to Pennsylvania to rally with steelworkers there and celebrate a $14 billion investment into the United States steel by the Japanese firm Nippon. And even though earlier in the day the president had bid farewell to Elon Musk and given a rally, and our flight back to Joint Base Andrews was extended by an hour as we dodged major storms over Virginia, the boss gave us one last surprise on Friday. Despite monsoon-type conditions on the tarmac, and I mean it was awful, it was awful out there, but the president emerged, saluted the military personnel at the bottom of the stairs, and wearing only his iconic Make America Great Again hat and an overcoat, he beelined right to us. Absolutely pouring rain, but still, he took the time to respond to our questions. I was able to ask several. Here's part of it.
That was a great trip to a fantastic place, the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania. The steelworkers are very happy. We did the tariffs. It's going to make them even more competitive. And it's turning out to be a great deal. I think it's going to be a fantastic deal. $17 billion is being invested for new steel mills, new everything, and it's going to be something special. So that was in honor of the steelworkers of Pennsylvania, and it was a fantastic time. We had a great day, and it is raining quite hard, but that's okay. How are you? Go ahead.
Sir, can you make Pennsylvania the steel capital of the world again?
I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Not much. We just had $17 billion given. And again, we're going to have control in the U.S. It's going to be a USA deal. The board is controlled. More importantly, the money's built, it's spent on facilities. You can't take them and leave and let's put them on a boat. Somebody said, well, what about that? Supposing they leave. Well, the money's invested on on brick and mortar. You can't lift it up and take it. But I think much more importantly, that's going to be a great partnership. And the company Nippon is coming in with $17 billion plus. So it's going to be fantastic for all steelworkers.
Yeah, look at the rain there. For those of you, I mean, everybody is soaked. He's a 78-year-old man. Tough as nails, out there with nothing but a ball cap and an overcoat, just talking to us. Then I got a bit of a personal shout-out. I got to share this. You know I would. Listen.
And, I rejected this about 4 times now. And when they finally got it right, I liked it a lot. And you could see how happy the steelworkers were. More importantly, you could see from the union standpoint, the union loved it.
It means thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania, right?
That's many thousands of jobs.
The state of Pennsylvania going forward.
I like this man.
Were you aware?
Yeah, I like this man. He was very friendly. And I had the opportunity to ask another question later about the G7 summit, which is coming up in Alberta, Canada. By the way, as I've talked to you about in this program, I believe what Donald Trump did was by design, calling Canada the 51st state, create this nationalism, get Mark Carney elected, the far-left liberal prime minister now. So the G7 often focuses on international peace and security, economics, something that Donald Trump has been leading the way on, hands down. But it's going to be hosted by Canada, like I said. And this raging liberal who took over as Canada's prime minister, I doubt he'll be as gracious as Trump has been to him. I just don't think he's going to be as gracious as Trump was to him. Listen to what he said. Here it is.
Your message to the G7 here in 2 weeks. You're going to Canada. Mark Carney up there obviously has a different view of the world than you do. When it comes to energy, clearly, what's your message going to be at G7 here in a couple weeks?
Well, it's in Canada. And he's a very nice guy, by the way, Mark Carney. I think he's really a very nice person. And we've had some good talks. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, whatever does happen, at least we can rest assured that we won't be embarrassed by our president, by our commander-in-chief this time around, thankfully. Like we were when Joe Biden wandered around the G7 summit last year. You may recall having to be redirected by Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, and others. He was wandering around all weekend. And then I was able to share this special moment with the president before he went back home to the White House. Real quickly, here it is.
I would suggest you all get out of the rain now. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good time. Thank you. Come here. Thank you. Who are you with?
There you have it. President came over and shook my hand, which was nice. Air Force One, fascinating, by the way. We'll talk more about that. You can send me questions. Follow me here on X. Follow us live on YouTube. We broadcast live on all sorts of platforms, including X, YouTube, Rumble. Let's see, we're everywhere. But you can send me a question, anything you want to know about Air Force One. Good stuff. We'll talk more about that. Thanks to Real America's Voice for making that part of what happened, a pleasure and a privilege. Now I want to turn your attention to other important news. Being asked on the tarmac, Donald Trump sticking up for Elon Musk, by the way, after a New York Times reported that Musk was taking a jaw-dropping amount of drugs during his time at Doge. Something Musk has denied. Here's another part of that conversation with Trump on the tarmac. But the question is about Elon Musk doing drugs. Here it is.
Were you aware of Elon Musk's regular drug use?
No, I wasn't. I think he's fantastic. I think Elon is a fantastic guy. And
are you troubled by these reports?
I'm not troubled by anything with Elon. I think he's fantastic. Did a great job. And, you know, Doge continues. And by the time it's finished, we'll have numbers that'll knock your socks off. It's going to be, he did a fantastic job. And he didn't need it. He didn't need to do it.
Yeah, there you have it. Musk says the New York Times is lying through its teeth. You know what? Drugs or no drugs, Donald Trump is right. What Musk has done was incredible. At least it was the first time. It was historic. It's supposed to be. That is, it will be historic if the Republicans can get their act together and codify these historic Doge spending cuts. Musk finished out his last week as a temporary government employee. And I'm wondering if his 130 days will actually make a difference toward the eye-popping amount of debt this country has. We're going to cave in if we don't get it right. We certainly will fail. That's where I want to focus for the rest of the morning here. The GOP, the so-called party of fiscal responsibility, the party that's supposed to stand for small government, low taxes, and the American dream, is frankly letting us down. Again, I'm sick and tired of watching the Republican establishment twiddle their thumbs while our nation drowns in a sea of red ink. America is not the wealthiest nation on earth. We're the poorest. With $36 trillion in debt, we are the poorest. We're a nation living on a credit card, basically. Borrowed time, maxed out on Uncle Sam's credit card, while the GOP is sitting there sipping their D.C. cocktails, doing nothing to stop the bleeding, and I mean nothing. I'm going to dig into this more when we come back, because this amount of spending, this amount of recklessness is unforgivable. It's not forgivable. It's not. We'll get real after the break here. Welcome to it. Brand new week. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Just so you know, we will get to that terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado coming up. We've been watching that all night. We'll talk more about that, an illegal alien attacking those in a grassroots effort to get hostages released out of Gaza. We'll talk about that coming up. Here we continue, though. Let's get real for a second. When President Trump swept back into the White House, we had hope, real hope. We started cutting the spending. The man brought a wrecking ball to the swamp, and for a minute it looked like he might actually get it drained. He brought in Elon Musk to restore fiscal sanity, the guy who builds rockets, reinvents cars, and runs companies efficiently as it gets. He was ready to bring the same ruthless efficiency to the federal government with Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. A bold idea, a MAGA idea. Make government work for the people again. What have Republicans done? Dragged their feet. They hemmed, they hawed, and now with Elon stepping back after his 130 days, I wonder, you probably wonder, did we just let our last chance to fix this mess slip away? The White House acknowledged Elon's service on his last day as a temporary government employee. Here's President Trump outlining just a sample of the kind of insanity Elon found in just 130 days. Listen to this.
Just as an example, Doge canceled $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, $101 million, and that was just in a small section of the Department of Education, $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. And the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City, $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. Does anyone know about Burma? $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. I can say it's $2 billion to Stacey Abrams and her environmental movement. There was $100 in the account, and all of a sudden they found $2 billion in the account. And I assume that's being looked at. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah. The Biden administration spent $7 trillion there. Lots where that came from. It's going to take more than 130 days to right this ship. You know that. I know that. When Musk addressed the nation, he offered his optimistic outlook on his departure. Here's part of what he said.
This is not the end of Doge, but really the beginning. My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing. It's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that it comes with a time limit. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time. The Doge influence will only grow stronger. I'd liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government, and I'm confident that over time we'll see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction.
I'm not as optimistic. I want to be. But if history teaches us anything, it's that our elected leaders don't have the balls, frankly, to see this through. Even most recently, Senator Rand Paul introduced an amendment to codify Doge foreign aid cuts, claw back the funds that were accomplishing God only knows what over at USAID, and 26 Republican senators voted against it. I'm talking about Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, Tom Tillis, James Lankford, Mitch McConnell, even the likes of Chuck Grassley and Tim Scott. Why? Why? I need answers. The American people need to know why the GOP cannot get serious about this. We need to know why less than 9% of the general U.S. population has over $1 million net worth, but over half of Congress are millionaires or multimillionaires. Why is Tim Scott shooting down an amendment like that and then saying this on national television?
You see the future of Doge without Musk?
Well, first, let's thank Elon Musk for his amazing service to the American people. He has done what no one else has done before, found hundreds of billions of dollars of cuts and waste, fraud, and abuse. No more 300-year-olds getting Social Security checks because of Elon Musk. Thank God that President Trump had the wisdom to put Elon in place. We will make sure that those cuts are permanent in our spending packages going forward. We need less spending from the American government and more Americans having their own money to make their decisions.
No, they won't. That's the kind of performative BS I'm talking about. These guys giving Elon Musk a standing ovation. Well done, Elon. While refusing to vote on a single Doge cut. I mean, seriously? $36 trillion is not just a number, it's a chain around the neck of every American. It's $100,000 per citizen, $250,000 per taxpayer. And it's growing. Interest payments alone are projected to hit $1.7 trillion annually in 10 years. $1.7 trillion in 10 years. That's more than defense and a whole lot of other things combined, folks. We're paying more to service our debt than to protect our borders. And what's the Republican Party doing about it? Posturing for cable news. Fighting over who gets the best committee seat or pandering to their corporate donors to actually take a stand. We're expecting a rescissions package to hit Capitol Hill tomorrow, maybe. We'll see what happens then, but we're going to keep talking about this. We're going to hold their feet to the fire because we're not playing around anymore. We're only guaranteed the next 4 years, and we need our elected leaders working every second. If we're going to move the needle on this, we need to save the money, folks. We need to save the money. And while we wait for the Republican Party to fix our nation's financial crisis, here's something you can do about yours. While corrupt elites got rich off from crypto, hardworking American patriots were left behind, but not anymore. Block Trust IRA is changing that, bringing the crypto opportunity to real Americans just like you. With crypto fueling President Trump's America First economic miracle, now is your chance to join the movement. Their Animus AI trading platform runs 24/7, crushing old-school strategies and helping patriots like you build serious wealth, just like the elites. Named the #1 crypto tech platform by Bitcoin Magazine, Block Trust IRA offers up to $200 million in protection, and their clients are seeing returns as high as 250%. Whether you're a teacher, trucker, retiree, or small business owner, this is your time. Get up to $2,500 in bonus crypto when you sign up now. Go to SteveGruberCrypto.com. SteveGruberCrypto.com. Making retirement great again. That's SteveGruberCrypto.com. Trust me, you want to look at this. It's a big deal. Don't be left out of this deal anymore. They're making fortunes out there while we sit here. I'll take a break and be back. We're going to talk about that terrorist attack in Colorado in a moment here on the Steve Gruber Show.